Hello, out there on the interwebs, homegrownradionj.org. You are live on hashtag Chew the Scene. Don't say hashtag, just Chew the Scene. Lomo solo today on air with my good friend. We've been trying to plan this forever. I mean, I think a year.
Yeah, maybe
a year, right? Mm-hmm. Khristine Hvam. Khristine Hvam Keys. What do you go by, actually?
Khristine Hvam. I actually never took my husband's.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So Khristine Hvam.
Out of total laziness.
No, I kind of, listen, you are Chris Hvam to me. Yeah. You're not even Khristine. It's even weird for me to say Khristine.
I'm Chris Hvam to everybody.
So Khristine Hvam, who is an award-winning voiceover artist, producer, director, narrator. You've definitely heard her voice on video games, commercials, a lot of audiobooks. But she's an old friend of mine. I'm older.
Is that fair?
I'm older. But we met, we were just kind of reminiscing. We were talking about the days of old when we were at County College of Morris.
Yeah.
In the good old days. The good old days doing Shakespeare.
The good old days. Yeah.
Now you're like kicking ass all over
the place.
Right
back at you.
Yeah.
Doing my thing.
We're kicking ass.
Doing my thing.
We've become a long way since the Performing Arts Club.
You make it sound a lot better than
No, you got to be proud of yourself. You always be proud. It's your history, girl. So talk a little bit. So we left county.
Yeah.
And we were still doing theater, but you went to school again.
Yeah.
You went to school again. You kept on going to school.
I kept on going to school. So I went and got, I went to Montclair and got my bachelor's in broadcasting because I thought, well, if this acting thing doesn't pan out, maybe I can work in television and radio. And so after graduation, I kind of got the story creation bug, and I ended up working in documentary television and producing TV.
Wait, can I just, I was in one of Chris Hvam's college films.
Oh, you were?
Do you remember that? I was terrible. You're like, could you take it down?
I don't remember telling you were terrible.
No, I'm telling myself, but you're like, okay, you're a little big. Because, theater.
This is film.
And I played, I should have been on Orange is the New Black. I played a police officer. We filmed at the Rawway. Remember that? Yeah. Anyway, can I get that footage for my reel?
Do you know I don't even have that movie?
You don't?
I don't. I don't have anything. I'm terrible. I keep nothing. I have nothing.
So I could say my first foray into film was a Chris Hvam original.
Oh my god! Yes.
See, girl. All right. Anyway, so you went to you were at Montclair.
Blah blah blah. So I left school and I was producing documentary television, and that was a lot of fun. But I kind of was like, but I want to be the star.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually want to be on film because this is very uncomfortable for me.
And I'm like, get closer. You're not in. I'm like, get closer to me.
I'm much more comfortable behind the mic. So, any case, I ditched TV and I went and I started producing radio down at the Jersey Shore, and that was a lot of fun. But while I was there, part of my job was to do commercial spots for local businesses and whatever, and I really liked it. And I was like, wow, this voiceover thing is a bunch of fun. I could really do this. This has kind of got everything in it for me, right? It's got my production background because I knew sound editing and things like that, so I could work from home. I could build a studio in my house. I could audition from home. I lived right outside of New York at the time, so it was like voiceover just was calling to me. So I quit that job and got a full-time job as a bartender, like you do when you're trying to be an actor.
I remember that too.
Like you do. And I just started pounding the pavement. And then, I got my first gig. And my first gig was an ADR gig, which is audio dialogue replacement. And work begets work, girl, right?
Yeah.
You know this, right?
Oh,
so you're doing a good job. You show up on time. You're fun to work with. You're talented. And people start taking you places. So the one director that I was working with, Tony Salerno, said, hey, I really think that you should audition for Audible. Now, Audible is like this up-and-coming, new on the scene. Amazon hadn't even bought them yet, right? And I was like, audiobooks? Yeah, sure, I'll do that. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I auditioned, and sort of the rest is history. And the other director, Tom Wayland, he was directing Pokemon at the time, and he took me over to DuArt, and I was doing Pokemon for a few years, too. And so that's kind of how my voiceover career began. And now I'm, video games, animation, commercials, and over 275 audiobooks.
Yes. It's so, and you do, what is your genre of audiobooks?
Oh, I do it all.
Yeah.
I do it all. But the majority of the work that I do is young adult, paranormal, fantasy, science fiction. If there's a boatload of character voices, if there's 60 people in a room talking to each other, I'm your girl.
No, she totally is. She totally is. Can you? I know. I hate to be like, can you act?
See, this is.
I know. You know it.
I said, hey, Lauren, why don't you let me know what you're going to ask?
And
me
I was
to do
like, no,
so I can be prepared. And she said, no. And this is what I'm talking about.
No, yeah, but no, she is so good at voices. You really are. And when I'm doing a voice, I'm like, oh shit, I'm acting. But when you do it, it's very organic. But you
got to commit.
So do it. Commit to something. Do a voice.
I know. That is
Come on,
so
acting on
unfair.
command. Acting on.
Give me
I know.
something.
I'm a terrible friend.
You are. This is terrible. This is mean.
I'm a terrible friend too.
Hurts my heart.
Do something from Pokemon.
Oh, that's just my regular voice.
All right, so that's not fun.
That's not fun.
Do well, you just had a book come out that's just been released. You just posted about it. So talk about that book.
That book is called Circle of the Moon. Faith Hunter.
Yeah, you work with her a lot.
Yeah, I work with Faith a lot. I think this is like my 16th book with Faith. Sorry, Faith, if I'm completely wrong about that. But this character is set in the mountain hills along the Appalachian Trail. She's got real like mountain speak, so the entire 17-hour book is narrated in like this super thick mountain southern kind of thing.
So let's do it. Let's do it.
Just jump in.
Just jump right in. Just act.
So I might say something like, Lauren, I really don't think it's too nice of you to ask me to come on in here and just start talking to people like I'm from somewhere else. I don't think that that's real fair of you. You know what I'm saying? Puts a girl on the spot. Just puts me right on the spot.
I'm going to put you on the spot, and I'll do a different voice. From a different, like if you were having a conversation.
If I was going to have a conversation with you, darling, if I was coming from Ireland, I might actually sound like this a bit. A lot of people think that I'm from Ireland when I do this. As a matter of fact, I just got cast to do a few voiceovers for Guinness. They passed on real Irish people and went with me. Thank you very much.
You know what's going to happen? There's going to be like cast real Irish people.
Yeah,
because this whole movement.
Well, let's not get crazy. This wasn't like a national spot commercial. This was their on-hold messaging. So if you want to talk to Joan, press 1. Let's not get crazy.
But that's exciting.
Let's not get crazy.
Well, you are going to get, not you, but because we live in this world now where I'm like, I thought it was acting. Why do we have to hire the?
Well, listen, when it comes to
certain things,
when it comes to voiceover for commercial, for television and radio, they're only going to cast authentic people from there. Right? They don't want someone like me that's making a voice. But when it's on-hold messaging and you've only got so much.
But why not? You do it so well. And we have so many British actors doing American. Listen, I don't get political here.
At the top of the road, darling. We just
why not?
pop on down to the pub,
Why can't, why not? It's just so funny.
But it's great for audiobooks.
Yeah.
Because I end up playing like 60 different people.
Do you like doing the accents? Like once you get into like a rhythm?
Me? Yeah.
I know.
I've been doing it since I was a kid.
So did you study with a dialect coach? Do you study with a coach, or have you and you just it's so ingrained in you now that you can just pick it up? Self-taught.
So there's a great website if you're interested in learning dialects. I always recommend to actors to find a dialect coach because the more you train, the more you learn, the better you are, the more comfortable you are. As I mentioned before, you can commit. When you can commit to it, you have that authentic, genuine sound.
Yeah.
But if you cannot get a dialect coach, and I haven't worked with one, you can go to a place called accenthelp.com and you can download tutorials in dozens of different accents.
Which is amazing about the internet.
And that's kind of what I do.
Well, because people do Skype acting, like they'll Skype in and they'll
I've taken Skype classes with VO coaches before.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, I'm like, it's so amazing. How do you feel about that? Because you're a teacher too.
I teach that way too.
You do. You teach through Skype.
Yeah.
So, how is that as opposed to being in the classroom with someone like face to face? Like, does it change the dynamic?
That's a good question. I don't really know the answer to that.
Because I've always been hesitant when I will have people that'll be like Skype in, class today, this and that, blah, blah, blah. And I'm always a little, what's that going to be like? Am I going to be able to, because I'm not getting that connection, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I haven't done it.
I do not mind taking a class via Skype. I've done a few Skype classes with some LA coaches that I wanted to work with to kind of hone my skills and get better at the things that I'm not great at. And it's fine. It's voice work, right? So it's the voice that they're focusing on. And sometimes, so the downside of being in person with someone or seeing someone's face is that we all have judgments based on someone's appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing something via Skype without video, you're really just focused on their voice. And in my line of work, that's all I need to focus on. So as long as I can hear you, I don't need to see you.
That's very cool. That's very cool. Yeah. So Chris has done, like she said, how many books? Over 200?
Over 275. Not all of them under my real name.
Right. We talked about that. That I do know about, but I still love I love it. Wow. They're like, what?
So sometimes you're asked to record romance, or as I call them, porn on paper. Mm-hmm. And you don't always want to use your real name. Sometimes the subject matter is way beyond what you're comfortable saying that you participated in, you know,
like the words that you're saying.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like, I just need the paycheck, but I don't need the recognition.
Right. I mean, we're all hustling, right? We all do things. We're all doing things because we got to pay our bills and we want to have nice things. So, but you recently created, which is so cool, co-created the very first musical audiobook.
Yes, I did.
So let's talk about that, because it's so fantastic.
It is. So myself and my two co-producers, Harvey Edelman and Neil Fishman, created the first audiobook musical. It's for children, and it's called Spin, the Rumpelstilskin Musical. It combines narration, multicast, dialogue, and 8 original songs. It's about 90 minutes long, and you can grab it wherever you buy your audiobooks. It's a lot of fun. It's super fun for the car ride. My kids have made me listen to it more times than I could possibly count.
And you're in it, so I
am in it.
So it's like you get to. What is that like? Listening to yourself in the car.
Oh,
no, but
awesome.
What is it? Are you like, that's me, I'm just singing and acting, or are you like, oh, there's me again?
No, I'm a terrible person. I'm like, oh, there's me.
No, I'm the same way. I'm like, no, this is why I think we always got along.
Yeah.
I did a TV show, and I was just, background, but I'm very featured. Like, the scene comes on, and it's like my face.
You're amazing.
And I was like, huh,
there's me.
Look at, I'm right in the front.
And I look good.
I know.
I look good. Yeah, I know. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. So but now, okay, so you listen to it, which I love. I love that your kids love it. I love that you listen in the car. You're in the process of creating.
Yep.
Let's talk about that.
We're doing another one. We don't have a name yet, but it's based on the story of Puss in Boots. We're not really sure about title. We are in the last processes of the script and kind of tweaking things and making sure the jokes land, and looking for areas where we're going to put sound effects and music beds. We just finished casting, which is my favorite part of the whole process, is everybody, all this amazing talent pouring in. And some people really had me cracking up. I mean, the auditions that came through were just incredible. This time around, it was amazing. So it's a crackerjack cast, full of Broadway people, incredible voice actors.
I wonder if I know any of them, actually. I mean, I know you probably can't tell me now.
Not yet.
Yeah. But I wonder if I know any of them.
I don't know. I'll tell you after.
I'm gonna know, and you're not. Maybe. Now that you're going forward with this next project, when you're listening to Spin, are there things that you're like, I mean, it's fabulous, but that you notice that you might want to fix or change?
Oh yeah.
I mean, obviously it's a completely different story, but
no. I think all artists would agree that you only stop making the work or creating the work when there's a timeline on it. It's like, okay, it's got to be done, so now it's done. If we had unlimited amount of time, we'd probably still be working on it, still tweaking things, still adding things. So when I hear it, I hear things that you would never hear, that you would never pick up on.
That we're not going to know,
like,
but you as a producer would.
Fixed. Yeah. But the thing that I'm doing with this next one that I didn't do in the first one, so on the first one, we were brand new. Nobody knew what we were doing. Audiobook musical was a term never used before. And so I ended up casting myself, and that was a mistake. So I was producing, I was directing, and I was in it. And it was just too much. It came out great. Everything went really well. Everything went really smooth. Nobody on the outside would have ever thought that was a terrible idea. But moving forward, I was like, you know what? I don't want to be in the booth. This is not about me. This is not like the Chris Hvam show. Let's toot my horn over and over again. And I want to focus on the actors. I want to be there for them. I want to be the support for them. And I can't do that if I'm in the booth as well. It was
And
hard
you
for me.
actually, you had a Broadway actor in Spin.
Several.
Yeah. So SpongeBob. So wasn't he in SpongeBob?
No. So Nick Sullivan and John E. Brady were both in Newsies.
Okay. That's what it was.
And then Lisa Livesey, who played our main lead, Jane, is now on Broadway. She's in Wicked. Yeah.
That's
so
fantastic.
We're super proud of you, girl.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry. So I didn't mean to interrupt you. So
No,
you were
that's fine.
saying, now so tell us, where can they get Spin? Like, give us all.
Anywhere you buy an audiobook. So
Okay.
if you have an Audible subscription, you can buy it there. HarperCollins is our publisher. So if you go to harperaudio.com, you can buy it there. And there's a million. There's a lot of audiobook sites. I don't know all of them, but if you're a huge audiobook fan, you would know where to go. But if you Google, thank you, Google, Spin, the Rumpelstilskin musical, it'll pop up.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So now you're not going to be, so you're not in this next one.
No.
So you're just going to be, which is going to be, I think, more enjoyable on some, like, not that you
Probably
don't
less
enjoy.
stressful.
Yeah, less stressful, so you could really enjoy.
But I mean, I had a blast with the cast.
Yeah.
You know, we became...
You could be like a little jealous, like, I want to be in it.
I am okay, so
I want to be in it.
this morning we did a little read-through, not with the cast, but with some friends of ours. We did a read-through just so that myself and my co-producers could sit back and
Right.
listen, so we could do whatever tweaking we needed to do. And I'm not going to lie, I jumped in several times. I was like, oh, I want to play this part, you know, because
Yeah.
that's my first love.
Of course.
So yeah, it's going to be hard not being in it, but it's the right choice. Because these people can sing.
Yeah.
I mean, the auto-tune that it took to get me to sound good.
No, but no, don't let
No,
her
I'm
kid
not
you. She
kidding.
was in a rock band.
Oh, please. But
When she was
seriously,
in high school and
auto-tune is my
college.
friend.
Yeah.
Auto-tune is my friend.
No,
we're
but-
like, we're not. And it was, the two men that I work with were very gracious in agreeing with me that I was not to be in this one. They were like, okay.
They're like, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, don't be in it.
Yeah, that's
Don't be in
fine.
it. It's fine.
Yeah.
So but as a performer, do you have any projects coming up? She's always,
I'm
I'll
always
be like,
working.
hey, do you want to get together? She's like, well, I'm doing a new book. I'm like, okay. So
I
I'll
try to
talk to you like
do-
in 3 months.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't take that long, but I'm just.
Sorry. I try to do a book a week.
Yeah.
So I'm always working. But right now I'm working on a book. Oh, see, if you had told me, I would know the author.
I know. See, I did not. I was like,
She didn't prep
sorry,
me.
I didn't prep her.
I'm working on a book called 10,000 Bones by somebody, Ollinger Joe, I want to say. I'm so sorry if I'm screwing that up. And it's great.
Yeah.
It's a sci-fi thing.
Ooh,
with
fun.
a strong female character, and she's super kick-ass. So it's a lot of fun.
Are you finding that now, like in the climate of the world we live in, we're getting these more powerful female characters that don't need to be rescued by a man?
Well, you know, it's interesting that you asked that, because in my entire career as an audiobook narrator, I've always been cast as like this strong, kick-ass.
But even in
Woman?
college, the roles that you played, you weren't like the shrinking Violet.
So I'd say there's quite a lot of material out there where a woman doesn't need to be saved. However, I do often say that I typically play a magical girl who meets a magical boy, and we magically save the world. That happens a lot.
And then you magically fall in love.
And then everything is just magic. Yeah. There's a lot of books like that.
So I so Chris teaches as well, and she had opened up a school, and she's like, come take some classes. I was like, okay. And
She did great.
I did fine. I did fine because and I'll never forget getting in the booth, and I put on the headphones, and I think I was reading, I don't know if it was like a passage from a book. I don't remember what it was. And I was like, I'm distracted. Mind you, there's a class. Like, I'm distracted by my own voice. It's too loud. And she's like, just get out of the booth. Just get out of the booth.
I don't remember it happening that way.
I mean, you weren't like that, but you're like, just come out. Because it's not easy.
No?
Voiceover, for you it is. But I think people are like, I have a great voice. I could be a voiceover actor. And we were talking with Bob Carr about it. And he's like, no, you have to be able to act with your voice.
He's doing really great, by the way.
I know. He was in 2 weeks ago.
He just got signed.
I know. It's crazy.
I'm so happy for him.
I am too. Two of my friends are like, actually 3 of my friends are kick-ass voiceover artists.
Fabulous.
I know. And it's...
Who'd have thunk it?
I know. Like, yeah, did you ever think when we were doing Shakespeare in college that you'd be doing...
You want to hear something crazy?
Yeah.
So, remember when we did... Okay, so we were friends with this group of... This family that put together the New York the New Jersey
Ren Fair.
Renaissance Festival. And the guys that ran that did a movie way back
Yes,
then.
I was in that.
Remember the movie they did? So I got pulled back in to do some ADR work, right? So I had to dub over some of my lines because they weren't clear and easily heard. And the guy goes, "You're good at this. You should probably do this." And it was like a decade later that I actually got into voiceover. And I always thought of that. Like, yeah, I really liked that. I really enjoyed that process.
Whatever happened with that? I was just background. You were a part though, right?
Yeah.
I can't. It was
I remember it was a serious part, and then during the viewing, everybody laughed at me, and I was like, "I will never do film ever.
I'm done."
I was like,
"You ruined me."
They laughed at me. Yeah,
but we were like in period clothes. It was
fun.
It was like a shit. It was fun. I was like in some coronation scene. But I don't know if you're watching any Parks. Where's that movie?
Yeah,
Hal? Was it called Hal or something? Was that what it was called? Hal?
See again.
See,
if we had thought about this,
we did not prep. So so you do coaching.
I do coaching. If you go to www.vamaudio.com, HVAM audio.com, that's my website.
And you're also a mama.
I am a mama.
So this is one thing that we have in common because we both work in the biz and we both balance family life.
The juggle is real.
It's crazy. And like, do you find when you're when I'm hardcore on a project, my family's great. I'm like focused. I'm like, I'm sorry.
None of you exist
right now. And then I always call it the assimilation, like when the project's over and I'm like assimilating back into normal society. There's like a period where I'm like shedding something. Do you have that?
I don't know. So I work from home. So my studio is in my house. And I am always multitasking roles.
Yeah.
I'm always at work and I am always mommy.
Yeah.
And it's really, really difficult. I mean, I'll be in the booth recording some hardcore fight scene, right? I mean, I am like in character, slashing people's heads off.
Right.
I've got a sword, I'm fighting, and then I hear, "Mommy." You're like, I was just in the middle of murdering someone. Give me a moment.
Actually, let's talk about that. So when you're in the booth, do you do physicality when you are doing your characters?
To a degree.
Okay.
To a degree. Roles in the booth usually are try not to move a lot.
Right, because you have to be right on the mic, right?
So you don't want to move off mic too much because it's noticeable. But I use my body and my face a lot while I'm working. So if I'm playing a man, I'm probably not sitting with my legs crossed.
Right.
I try to be very neutral in my body during a record so that I can move and shift into different things. If I'm playing a sexy character, I can kind of lean in a little bit. If I'm playing a strong character, I can sort of broaden myself out a little bit. So yeah, I do use my body, but it's more film style movement than theater movement.
Right.
I'm not big and bold like you are in theater. It's very small.
And when you first, because you have a theater background, did you find that the transition, because we are bigger in theater, and film is just a little bit more understated, but almost harder in a way too. I mean, they're both hard and I think and easy in their own.
I never studied film or TV, so I don't know. I mean, I say, oh, it's small like film because that's what everybody in film says.
Yeah.
But I don't actually know. And my stage theater career is so limited and small. It was just those 2 years at CCM, and then that was pretty much it.
Right.
So, I don't know. Everybody asks questions about what I do in audiobooks and acting, and it really is just. It comes out very natural. I don't know. I don't know how
you've
else
always
to
been like that, though.
It
You've
just
always
kind
been
of
very
comes out.
like even doing Shakespeare. You've always been very, very natural.
Thank you.
Did you? I just the thought just went out of my head.
Thought bug.
Chris, it's like hanging
Thought
out
bug.
in
Do you remember
college.
thought bugs?
Yeah.
Thought bug.
I was like,
comes
I
in
had
and
a
it
great
goes out.
thing to say. Do you ever do you miss acting? Would you ever take a class? Do you ever have like the bug to be like, I want to be on stage or I want to be in a film?
It's impossible to miss acting. I do it every day.
Right. So you do it every day. But
I do it every day.
The physical, like the part where you're on
Do I
camera.
miss stage acting?
Yeah.
No.
Or even, well, you haven't really done film, you said, but no.
No. Because then I only get to play one part.
Right.
When I do an audiobook, I get to be everybody.
So how do you come up with your characters? You read the book first, obviously. 'Cause wow, that would
Chapter 1.
That would be really
fun.
Exciting. I don't know what's happening either.
How do I come? I don't come up with my characters. The author comes up with the characters,
Right,
and
but I mean the voices. Like, do you?
Well, that's what I mean. Like everything is
there.
Everything is there. So one of the most important things that I think audiobook actors need to take away is that all of the information that you need, everything that, all that subtext that they talk about in theater and film and, what's really happening, it's all done in the narration. You know what the character's thinking, right? You know what they look like. You know their relationships to each other. You know where they're from. You know everything about them. And so playing them becomes very easy. I mean, it's all roadmapped.
Right.
You really just have to follow it. So if you can stay out of your own way, those characters come very easily. So, the author might describe this, this fantasy character as being this large, muscly man with big tusks coming out, and he's got a deep sound. And so I kind of know what that's going to sound like, because if I had big tusks in my mouth, I'd probably do something. Right? But it's all right there. So I just go back to, age 7, where I'm pretending and playing, and I take on those physicalities and I take on those characteristics, and I just kind of let it come out and I play with it. If it sounds good in the moment, it feels good, I run with it. If something feels off, and sometimes if I get a chance to work with a director and an engineer, they may say, hey, that's working. Oh, excuse me. They may say, hey, that's working really well, or hey, that's not. Let's tweak it. And they may have other ideas, but most of the time, everything's right there. If you're just paying attention, if you're not worried about what you sound like, you're not worried about what other people think you sound like, when you're not thinking about, is this right? And you're more worried about, does this feel good? You can get there a lot faster.
And that's with acting too.
It is acting.
I tell my students, don't think about it. Don't think. Because when you think, it's like, forget it. It's over.
Just be.
Just do it. And just let it come.
Just be.
Let it come naturally. So what is it like? Because I'm going to be honest, you have to read the book first, and you got to freaking read it again.
Yeah.
And then, like, that, I would see, for me, I'm like, that's a lot of and now I like to read.
Reading.
It's a lot of freaking reading.
Yeah, I don't read for pleasure, that's for sure.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you've obviously rewired your brain.
Oh,
because you do a lot of reading.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what to say about that. Yes, I have to.
Because I'm not a reader. I'm not an avid reader. I do read, but I'm not. I read a lot of scripts. So, like, the last thing I want to do in my free time is read a freaking book.
Okay, so the way you read a script is the way I read a script.
Yeah.
They call my script a book.
Right.
They call your script a play.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I'm a reader.
You're a reader. Look at that.
Who knew?
You're a storyteller.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have to read it first. But I have a different way of reading it. I'm not like hanging out poolside.
Right, you're like
flipping through. Like, this is my leisurely reading time.
No.
So a lot of times, what I do to shorten the process is I will have a little conference call with the author and sort of get the Cliff's Notes from the author. Hey, what's this story about? Who are the main characters? Where are they from? What kind of different accents can I use? Are you cool with this? Pronunciations on things. And then I'll go and do like a speed through on the book so that I have an idea of the story arc and who's coming in where and how everybody relates to each other. And if there are any character voices that I need to pull out outside of my sort of my menu inside my brain of the character, my go-to characters. And then I don't know,
so some characters have reappeared.
They all reappear. But
it's like a different incantation of that character, maybe?
Yeah, because the author it's a different person.
Right.
But I have like stock voices, you know, like my main guy voice, my main sidekick guy voice, my main.
Do your sidekick.
My sidekick guy. I need something.
She's gonna hate me. She hates me.
No, it's okay. So, so he might be like, you know, he might just have a little more personality to his voice. You know, he's just kind of cool, and he's the sidekick guy. And then my regular guy he's just me and my regular register. So Moran, I just truly love you. he doesn't really love you, girl. He's just saying that to get in your, like,
Yeah.
So it's my sidekick voice.
Yeah.
And then I have, my girl sidekick and my girl lead role too. So
Do girl lead role.
my girl lead role is just me.
Yeah.
Depending on her personality. So if she's the ingenue type, I might bring her up in my register a little bit. She might be quieter, a little unassuming in the way that she talks. And her friends would probably be a little bit louder and a little bit squeakier,
Yeah. I love it.
Or she might have like that super cool friend that's like, yo, Chris, seriously, chill out. He's just a boy.
So you mentioned like not being self-conscious about your voice, and this is what I hear from all voiceover actors. They're like, Lauren. My one friend was like, no, none of us like the sound of our voices, but you just have to get used to hearing your voice.
Oh yeah,
and that's what was distracting me when I took your class because it was very loud.
But
and I was like,
you're doing this.
I know. You're like, how do you do your radio show? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I think because it's like I'm not thinking. I was looking, and I've learned how to get on my own way with that.
Yeah.
Your brain will get into your own. Your own way.
I remember like eons ago when I was a kid, my voice bothering me when I heard it because there's that disconnect between what you sound like in your head and what you sound like.
Yes.
Right. But I spend 6 hours a day, every day in the booth listening to myself. I guess I just got over it.
Yeah. And you listen in your car. So you're like, hey, no, it's true.
It.
So what, so we talked about you balancing. You have beautiful kids, beautiful home, and husband.
Rough, that whole balance in the mom.
It is.
Let me tell you, ladies, it's no joke. These working moms. So there's a new show on Netflix. I don't know if I can talk about that, but I'm gonna called Working Moms. I'm like crying at every episode.
Right, because it's
I'm
like,
oh my god,
it's true.
it's true. It's so hard.
Well, it's funny. She's like, "What time are we done?" I'm like. She's like, I gotta be out. I gotta be on the road. I gotta go pick up my kids. I'm like, that's fine. I gotta go direct my kids' school play today. That's what I do one day a week. I go.
Aww,
So I get it. You know what I mean? So it's like we make dinner. Then I have rehearsal tonight. It's great.
We ladies put way too much pressure on ourselves.
We seriously do.
It's like I have to be a chef, and I have to be a runway model.
Yeah.
And I have to be the most amazing
Crafter,
granola crunchy mom.
Yeah.
And I've got to be crafty. And I have to succeed at work. It's just too much.
And and I've learned to laugh at myself because I hate cleaning. I do it, but I fucking hate it.
We hired a cleaning lady.
Oh, good for you.
Take it anymore.
That I'm manifesting that. That's like on my vision board. That's like I'm like that's a life goal of mine to have a cleaning lady because I hate it, but I do it.
Well, I convinced my husband because he's the one that's got to clean the bathrooms.
I do the bathrooms. I cook.
So he was like, "Yeah, sure, cleaning lady sounds good."
Yeah, whatever. Clean house. That's great. Yeah. That's great.
I mean, we're not terrible. My kids are good, but still.
Why are mine are like? I mean, they're not bad kids.
Yours
are
like, older than mine.
Yeah, they are.
Little ones at home.
Yeah, yours are babies.
5 and 4.
So yeah, yours are still really
5 and 4. Sebastian just turned 4. Maya's 5.5. She's in kindergarten.
Oh my god,
it's just craziness.
I can't. I just imagine. So we were in CCM and we were like the fun girls, and and now we have children.
Now we're the fun girls. In the not so fun part of parenting.
Yeah, it's hard. Actually, it's funny because I actually find where I am now a little bit emotionally, it's a little harder, but my kids are a little older. I mean, we're talking 13. I mean, my oldest 22. He's in Massachusetts, but 13, 10, and 8. Aww. So they're very they make their own lunches. My older one does her own laundry.
What is that like?
Oh my god, it's amazing. But I'm like independent. I'm like,
do you
okay.
Get coffee in the morning? Do you just make coffee and then
coffee.
You just have it?
I do. That's actually my thing. That is my one thing is my coffee in the morning. Yeah. And I sit and I drink my coffee. My mother-in-law is at the other side of the table and we have our morning coffee together.
Amazing. I gave up my morning coffee.
Why? That's like my one thing.
For the sanity of all. So,
girl.
I know. No, it's not like I don't have it. It's just that I have it after I do drop off.
Gotcha. So, right. Oh, no, me too. Yes. Oh, yeah. Like if I do the drop off because we travel to go to school,
okay.
I do coffee. But if Todd does the drop off, when I get up, I do my coffee. I need that. I need that minute because as soon as I start my day, I don't stop until 10:30 at night.
Yeah. So a typical day for me is waking up. I throw on some music because everybody needs a little a little pep talk
That's
in the
a good
morning.
idea.
It is. Okay, so my
I'm
morning
gonna do
routine
that.
had to change
Tell
because
me.
things were depressing. And I was yelling at everybody and it was miserable and the kids were miserable and I was miserable. And so I changed it up and here's what I do. So everybody has to be dressed before we come downstairs. You may not come down in your pajamas.
I like
Me
that.
either. I have to be done and ready to go.
Yep.
Right? So first thing I do is I go downstairs and I turn on the music. Kids Bop Radio is my friend.
Bop, baby.
And then I start making breakfast. And the kids come down, and they're coming down like this because the music is playing.
And
Mom
Mom is so
dancing,
happy.
right? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't hate being awake right
No.
now. So the kids start eating while they're having breakfast. I'm doing lunches. We put lunches together. Everybody puts their shoes and coats on, and we are out the door.
I love it.
And it's amazing, and everybody's into it. Everybody's good. There's no yelling.
How long
There's
has
no
it been going
screaming.
on?
I started
She's
it.
like, one day.
We started that this morning. I started this in October.
Oh, that's great. So now it's like part of your
a
thing.
thing.
It's staying. Oh, that's a great
It's a
idea.
thing. Yeah. So then, then I come home and I record whatever audiobook
Before
it is.
you have your coffee?
No. Oh, coffee happens.
Okay, I was like,
No,
girl,
coffee
that's
happens.
like nuts.
And then I record and then I pick the kids up and there's play dates or doctor's appointments
I
or
know.
whatever.
Activities. Just wait.
And then when my husband gets home at 6:15, it's usually dinner, bath time, and then I'm back in the booth.
And what time do you go to bed? Like, what's like your bedtime?
I don't know. It's different. If I have accomplished everything that I need to accomplish recording that day, 8:30.
I know. I go down when the kids go. Listen,
Like
I get up.
midnight.
I wake up in the morning. I'm like, I can't wait back. I'll be back here in like 12 hours. That's great. I'm like
8:30. It's either
Yeah.
my bedtimes are stupid because it's either 8:30
or like midnight.
or midnight.
Yeah, I know. That's like me too. Like, because if I sit, my thing is like I have to keep on going. Because if I freaking sit, I'm like, wah, wah, done
Yeah.
for the day.
Yeah. And I am princess procrastinator.
I used to be, but you know what? Now because I've curbed my anxiety. Except for yesterday, I had really bad anxiety. And I realized I was thinking too much yesterday.
Don't
and
do
that's
that.
why I don't think. So, no, I don't procrastinate anymore. Like when I get in, I used to like wait on answering emails. Nope. I get that email. I answer it. I do that right away. I do my lesson plans right away. There's certain things like I do, but I don't call it procrastinating. It's just my creative style.
I'm going to call that my creative license.
That's my creative license. Like when I'm directing, I read the script, but I don't really start blocking it maybe till like a couple days out. Like I already know what I want to do, and like I already have like the pictures in my head as I'm reading it.
It's like me choosing characters. You
Yeah.
kind of already know what you're going to do.
I know what I'm going to do.
So the prep work doesn't have to be like when we're doing. So we're in pre-production on the next musical,
Right.
and I'm already working on the recording schedule because we've got 11 actors and
cast.
9 songs, and 10 scenes of dialogue, and then the narrator and all that. So it's a lot to schedule, and I want to make sure that there aren't people waiting around. As
I
an
know,
actor,
I hate that.
The thing that I
Ugh.
hated the most was waiting around, and so I try to keep everybody's wait time. So I've started doing the scheduling, and
But doesn't that ease your stress a little bit?
a little bit. I
It
mean,
does.
I couldn't record yesterday. They're doing construction on somebody's house behind me.
I love your posts, by the way. They're hilarious. They're hilarious. They crack me up.
Yeah, landscaper.
Because that really does affect, because you
Oh,
can
it
hear
drives
it,
me
right?
nuts.
So what do you just can't
I
record
just
that
stop.
day? Yeah, that
I
sucks.
just stopped. So yesterday they were doing this guy's roof, and so I just didn't work. So I worked, but not recording.
Yeah, you did other things. I mean, and that's the thing too. I feel like I hate to be like all who run the world, but I say it all the time. I'm also cooking dinner,
Yeah.
and then and even if I go out, like if I happen to have it, we don't go out much.
You get to go out?
Not much.
It's amazing.
I mean, I go out because I'm at rehearsal, but like every once in a while we'll go out. I'll still cook for my family before I go out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'll
I do
still
too.
cook-
It's
yeah.
called ordering pizza.
It's called, I just want to make sure, like, I'm going out for dinner with, like, a girlfriend. Please, I want to make sure that they're not eating, like, chicken nuggets, like,
No.
tonight. Sorry, guys.
No.
Tonight's a great night. But, no, I mean, I will cook. I mean, it is, like, it's...
Well, you have older kids. Yours eat. Mine don't eat anything.
Well...
My kids don't eat
Listen, my little one eats, like, nothing. And she'll be like, what's for dinner? And I'm like, this. She's like, I don't like anything. I'm like, make your own food. I mean, that's where I'm at. I do. That's my thing. I go, you can get something out of it. You can get a yogurt. You can get some fruit. You can figure it out.
So
I'm hardcore.
I think of you often
I love this.
in my mothering.
Yes.
So way before mothering was even on my radar. So your oldest is 13?
13, yeah.
All right, mine's 5. So do the math. So she was, 6 months old.
Right.
And our little crew came to your house. And I hear, right in the background. And I'm like, aren't you going to get her? And you're like, no.
I know.
No. She'll go back to sleep. And she did, 10 seconds later.
Yeah.
And Lauren turns to me and says, that child was born into my life.
Yes.
Not the other way around.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of how
I have taken that little philosophy with me.
I love
my
that.
whole way.
Yeah. I had really bad postpartum when I had her.
You and 99%
Everyone else.
of the people.
But it was funny because I was really open about it. People be like, how are you? How are you?
Terrible.
I'm like, I hate this.
Yeah.
I was really open about it. I'm like, I'm really having a hard time. This is not what I thought,
No.
blah, blah, blah. So I finally, as a mom, I just stopped putting all this pressure on myself to be like we talked about.
Yeah.
Like the crafty
perfect
mom,
lady.
the perfect lady. I'm not perfect. I am perfectly imperfect. My kids are great, but I've always raised them like this is our lifestyle.
Yeah.
I am not going to lose my identity because that's what happened. I think when I had my first child, I was like, I'll never forget.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, who am I? Like walking home from the coming home from the hospital. I didn't walk home. They made me walk.
Feet of snow, and she was barefoot.
Oh, holding my baby. I just remember walking into my house, and even the house felt strange. Like I felt like a different person, or I'd be out.
Yes, the
right?
house felt weird. I remember
was like,
when
this
I
is
brought
so
Maya
weird.
home,
Yeah.
I just hugged my dog and cried.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad. I was like, our lives are so different.
No, I was like, what did I do? And
Yeah,
my God,
it was
I mean, she's so dear to me now. All my kids, obviously I have 2 more, but I was not going to change my life. I see that happens sometimes, and my kids are number 1, but they're not always number 1. Sometimes I'm number 1.
Yeah.
And they're fine with that. Sometimes they're pushed,
It's a good example for them.
Yeah.
So
So
you've got 2 daughters, and they need to understand to put themselves first.
Absolutely.
And so that's a great example, and for your son, it's an incredible example of the kind of woman that you want him to be with.
you know what? And
Bravo to you.
And you know what? And when I talk to women, because I'll get messages like, you're so empowering, you're so this, you're so that,
that's
which
nice.
is nice. Because that's what I really want to do is empower women. I'm 43 and my life's just beginning. I think so. In our field.
What do you mean your life's just beginning?
Just like, I've hit my stride. Like I'm really comfortable. I love myself. I mean, I really like myself. I'll tell you, I love myself. Call me arrogant, call me selfish, whatever. But I like myself. I worked hard to become this person.
Yeah.
And my children are part of that. So I want all women to feel this way. And I think like you said, we beat ourselves up, or society has put us in this box. And look at a lot of women won Oscars, were nominated this year. If you look at our government, a lot of women, the UN has all women representing. So we are getting there. And I'm actually playing Susan B. Anthony.
Are you really?
Yes, I am. I know when you think of Susan B. Anthony, you think of Loma Mills for sure. But it's called Her Story. I've talked about with Danny, and it's just for Women History Month. And we go to
nice.
libraries and schools.
Good for you.
But she was the first. She really fought for equal rights for women. I mean, she's the reason why we have everything that we have. She was such a front runner. So I want other women to feel that way. Like you don't have to, when you have kids, you don't have to be your kids don't have to be your life. My kids are my life. Obviously, I would take a bullet for my kids, but I'm important too.
Yeah.
And you have to love yourself. There's nothing wrong with self-love. There's nothing wrong with saying no. There's nothing wrong with canceling plans. I'm a big, I've learned how to say no and not even give an excuse. I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah, to everything.
To everything. If I don't want to do it,
Just a simple, no, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah.
Is enough. Yeah, I agree. The juggle is real.
The
It's
juggle's
it's
hard,
too
though.
much. And I watch every mom do it. And, it's funny. I was at drop-off, and you're watching all of this, restrained crazy happening at
Yes.
drop-off. All these moms trying to hold in the frustration, when this child is throwing a hissy fit.
doesn't want to go to school. They're not getting
Yeah.
the car fast enough. You're like, oh, no.
And I'm looking at all these women, and I'm like, we all need a safe place to go to scream at the top of our lungs.
And that's why we need to stick by each other. And I think sometimes we don't. I've learned I don't compare myself anymore. That was the biggest thing that I always used to do. Mm-hmm. Compare myself to other women, other people. And when I stopped and I really started practicing this self-love, my life got so much better. I got happier. My kids are happier.
Somebody, you remember we were talking about the gentleman who started the New Jersey Renaissance Festival. I ran into Andy Parks the other day. He and I were talking.
Funny.
We were talking about some stuff. And in the conversation we had about comparison, because we were talking about social media and how it can sort of rob you of your self-worth and make you feel less than. And he said this thing, and I don't know who he was quoting. I don't know if it's from him or what, but he said, comparison robs you of joy.
It does. It really does.
And it was interesting because, I'm sure 1,000 people have said something like that to me in my life in some form or another, but whatever it was, that turned a light bulb on for me. And I was like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, and it's hard to
I don't want to do that anymore.
I don't talk down about myself. I laugh at myself. Like if I make I have no problem laughing at myself, but I do not cut myself down. And when I get up first thing in the morning, I'm like, hallelujah, I'm alive today, first of all. But I can't wait to be back in my bed. But I'm alive.
Another one.
Made it through. Here I am. I'm great. I'm amazing. And I'm going to get everything I want out of life. I mean, I literally say that.
That's your mantra.
That's my mantra. And I think everyone should do it because you can get everything you want. I mean, the secret is no secret. It's what you put out, comes back to you. The not comparing, not being jealous. I don't have, what's meant for me will come to me. So if I don't get a role or something or a job, I'm like, oh, well. I'm bummed, but something else is going to come along for me.
Yeah.
That's fine. And if it's something that really bothers me, I try and only allow myself 24 hours to really work through it. Sometimes 48. But yeah, don't compare. I'm so happy for all my friends. I love watching my friends succeed. I get excited.
Yeah.
If I see a friend on a TV show, I'm like, oh my God. Look at,
God,
you know what I mean? It's thrilling.
Yeah.
I'm in the winning circle.
And sometimes I try to remind myself, if I don't book a job or I don't win that award or I don't get that thing, I kind of talk to myself like I'm a 4-year-old and I go, well, it's not your turn.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just not your turn. You have to share the good and the bad with everybody. And today is not your turn.
And you didn't lose. You're just learning. And it's going to give you a little thicker skin.
Yeah.
Right? It's character building.
It's so interesting that you say thick skin. So I was going to sleep last night and I was having this vision of talking about having thick skin. And I was like, you know what? It's not about having thick skin. It's about being open to allow things to pass right through.
That's true.
Right? So not to harden yourself and harden your skin so that you're not feeling it and you're not vulnerable, but to open yourself up so much that those things just pass right through.
Yeah. So, it's the truth, especially in our industry, because we get a lot of criticism. Oh,
and please, the only time anybody talks to me is when I do something wrong.
Well, I'll never forget my first review ever for professional theater. Not my first review ever. I was directing for a while, but I would never get a mention. And I would get good reviews. And I swear to God, the first line was, it was Dirty Blonde, directed by Moran Mills. And I was like, I'm going to get a bad review. Why? I knew it. And I did.
Oh.
But it was like, I was like,
what was
okay. It was just that we did a play called Dirty Blonde, which is a Mae West. There's 3 people in it.
Okay.
And so it's a really cool play. It's a play with music. But we were kind of restricted on how we were able to tell the story. Her boob is supposed to pop out because she was very, very raunchy. I don't say raunchy, but for that time, she was risque.
Okay.
But we were in a YMHA. We couldn't really, it's a religious building. So I think he felt like the woman playing Mae West, who was great, was more of a caricature. And that's one thing it's hard is when you are playing someone like Mae West, who is so iconic, and I didn't think she was a caricature at all, but there is that fine line between being embodying that person or becoming a caricature. And he just felt like it didn't really it didn't tell the story enough. We were also in a very big theater. It should be there were just so many things against us, and it was fine, and it hurt. And it's like, it's like in a major newspaper, but you just learn how to deal with it. You can take it. And now I can take it. I actually like as an actor, I'm like, you need to direct me. Please don't leave me to my own devices. Please do not leave me to my own devices. Because
I'm not safe on my own.
I know. I'm like,
Send
give
help.
give me notes.
Yeah.
Tell me if you don't like something I'm doing. Tell me if you like something I'm doing.
Yeah.
Tell me, because I'll keep on going off the rails, and
Yeah.
so I can get like a response out of you.
Yeah.
You know.
I will keep talking until someone stops me with their words.
Well, I always joke. They're like, when is rehearsal? Like, they're like, well, when is your rehearsal process over? I'm like, I just keep on coming until they tell me not to. They're like, okay. That's it. They're like, oh, I'm done. All right.
Okay, bye.
Like, I'll take my paycheck. Thank you.
I got an awesome bad review when I first started. I mean, there's been plenty since then.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
like a
trust
crazy-
me. I mean, yeah.
And it threw me, but it was great. So my last name is Hvam, Hvam. And I don't know if this was on purpose or not, but this, I'm going to say young girl. All she wrote was, in all capital letters.
Oh, I love all caps.
Khristine Hvam. Whatever. You suck. And
I love the voice. I love that's like a sidekick voice.
Whatever.
That's a sidekick.
Yeah, that's a sidekick. She's the reason. Thank you.
Thank
whoever
you.
are.
See, that was your gift.
And I was on the bus. I was coming home from the city, and I'm reading it, and I am upset.
Of course. It's like cuts like a
I
knife.
want to write to her and say
Yeah.
a million things. And like you're saying, for 24, 48 hours, I was pretty upset about
Yeah.
it. And as I was telling the story multiple times, it just started to get really funny.
Yeah. Like right now, I'm cracking up.
Khristine Hvam, whatever, you suck. So yeah. Since then, I've learned to take bad reviews as a good thing, because instead of looking at a bad review individually, I look at them collectively.
Right.
And I say, okay, what's everybody talking about? Are they saying my voice is squeaky? Are they saying my the dialogue is bad? Are they saying my narration is boring? Are they saying they don't like the way I play characters? Like, what's the common thread in all of these criticisms that I
Right.
can then use to make myself a better performer?
Right.
And so, while good reviews are a lot of fun for me, right?
Yeah,
They're
we
fun
all.
for
Who
everybody.
doesn't love getting a little like smoke
little
blown,
love.
a little love?
But the bad ones are helpful.
yeah. Well, it keeps
they
it real.
hurt.
It's humbling.
But it's helpful because in my line of work, all I do is self-direct, right? So I
Right.
record like 99% of the books that I'm doing at home by myself. So I'm self-directing. So those reviews are kind of the mirror and the, to the performance, so that I've got an idea of what's working, what's
Right.
not. So I've learned to use those bad reviews to my advantage.
You have to.
And to not be so afraid of them.
And I think it was it Tiger Woods' father, or someone said, you're never as good as they say you are, you're never
Yeah.
as bad. And sometimes people will give you a bad review, I hate to say it, if they're jealous. Because I think like when we were in our 20s, if I didn't like someone,
Oh, yeah.
you know what I mean? It was all because I was jealous.
Yeah.
And now that I don't have
Sometimes
that
I
anymore,
just didn't like them.
Or, I mean, yeah, I mean, that obviously happens. But, like, like, if I couldn't figure out, like, why don't I like this person's acting? Everyone else likes them. They are really good. Oh, I'm feeling a jealous
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
And even now, like, I'm a human being. I'll get, like, a pang of jealousy. And I'm like, oh, I don't like this. This is not me.
Yeah.
And I'll flip it. I'll level up. I'm like, Lauren, level the fuck up. I swear a lot. Level
okay.
up. And then it's like, pff, I feel lighter.
I think in my old age, I've learned to separate someone's talent versus whether or not it's someone that I like and I want to spend time with.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'm the same way.
But I agree. When I was in my 20s, I don't think I was able to do that.
No, but I don't think any of us are, because, I teach college kids now. I do college theater. And it's like the same thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and they look at me and I'm like, I know you don't believe me that I've been, and they're my babies and I love them. They call me the crazy aunt. But
The crazy what?
Crazy aunt.
Oh.
Crazy aunt, which is fine. I want to be the crazy aunt. I don't want to be the mom necessarily.
Yeah, I don't want to be.
I want to be the one that's going
I
to
have
take you
enough
out when you're
people to
21.
mother.
Yeah, exactly.
I have enough.
But I do get the same thing with them as well, and sometimes I'm like, I get annoyed if like I find out, oh, this person said this thing, and then sometimes I'm like, you know what, they're 25, 22. Yeah. I was the same exact way, and I know they appreciate me, and I appreciate them.
Yeah.
I appreciate the energy that they give.
Beautiful person.
So are you. So are you. So tell everyone where they can find you on the
interwebs?
You, yeah, your handles, all your socials.
I don't know. I'm
Vam Audio on Instagram.
Yeah, I'm at Vam Audio on Instagram. I don't know what I am on Twitter. Probably Khristine Hvam of some variation thereof.
But it's Khristine with a K. K-H-R.
My parents couldn't spell. I don't know what to tell you.
I love that.
K-H. But I have spent my entire life spelling my name, not saying my name.
Yeah. Well, I get all different. I get like Loran. It's funny when you get an email.
You get what?
Loran, Loran, or Loren.
Who spells Lauren? Loran. Now, don't go crazy and start putting in the comments.
We're not being judgy. Relax.
I never heard that spelling before. For a man, isn't that the man spelling?
I think
Lauren?
it is, but
Loren or something.
But I'll get that because and the pronunciation of my name is actually Lauren.
Is it really?
Lauren. Yes, my family calls me Lauren. Everyone else calls me Lauren. You can call me whatever. People call me Lomo Mills. I'm like, what? Lo.
Is that true?
Yeah, Lauren.
I've known you a long time.
You've known me forever, and now you're going to be there with my family one day, and you're going to be like listening, like Lauren.
I'm going to tell you something. I always thought that you just had this Jersey accent going, and that's why you were always like Lauren.
No, it's Lauren. Like
I didn't
Lauren
realize.
Paul. Yeah, like Ralph Lauren.
I didn't realize
it's not Ralph Lauren. It's Ralph Lauren. I know it's weird.
I did not know this.
Yes. So Lauren. So now now here's the thing. Are you going to look at me and be like, Lauren?
I'm not going to be able to say your name.
I know. You're
anymore.
going to look at me now. You're going to hear Lauren. But my family calls me Lauren. But I answer to Lauren. And my friend Lauren Tomasetti, same thing.
Really?
We actually were cracking up one day. She goes, no, my name is pronounced Lauren. I was like, shut up. So is mine. But we call each other Lauren. But I love my name. And Todd's going to say, yes, I know.
Why would you do that to each other?
I think because
It's like you're the only other two people in the world
know,
that know how to
Lauren.
say your names.
I know,
yet you
Lauren.
choose to say it wrong.
I think because I just had this like block because my family's like Lauren. So I've always like, yeah, I'm Lauren.
Oh.
I think it's like
this was your rebellion.
I'm like, I was rebellious. So yeah, I do love my name though. I do. Todd always laughs at me. He's like, I know. I'm like, I like my name. I didn't when I was younger. I wanted to be Stephanie. I
wanted to be Stephanie.
I have a cousin Stephanie. I was jealous, Steph, if you're watching. But I wanted to be Stephanie, and then I was like, I love my name. I love saying it, Lauren.
My name is so generic, Chris. Half the population has my name.
I don't think so.
Everybody is
not
a
your
Chris.
spelling now, but I mean, I guess when you're
you
saying
cannot hear a spelling.
That's true. Chris.
Hi, my name is Chris, but it's with a K.
But to me, you're Chris Hvam. Like one word, Chris Hvam.
And you know, it's funny because that followed me my whole life.
Yeah.
Because people just kind of latched on to
Chris
Hvam.
And it's funny because I'm Lauren Moran, and then when I got back, I was like somewhere and they took the Moran off. I was like, no, I'm keeping Moran. And then I just became Lauren Moran Mills. So even when I introduced myself, I'm like, hi, I'm Lauren Moran Mills.
Good for you.
It sounds weird though. Now, does it sound weird when I say that?
No.
Lauren Moran Mills.
No, it's been long enough.
Yeah, you're like,
It's been
Lauren
long
Moran
enough.
Mills. I have 3 names.
On Facebook, I'm Khristine Hvam Keys.
Yes.
I don't remember why that happened. I think it was still while I thought, yes, one day I will change my name. And I just never did. I apologize to my husband. I just got lazy, and it was a lot of paperwork. And I had already been working for like a lot of years under Khristine Hvam, and I just didn't want to go through all that identity change.
Yeah.
It was enough for me. So, yeah, I'm still just Chris Hvam. And it's cute because the kids know my name.
Your kids?
Yeah, they know
Chris
my
Hvam.
last name is
Hi,
Hvam.
Chris Hvam. Chris
What's
Hvam.
mommy's name?
Chris
And after
Hvam.
they say mommy,
Yeah.
they say Khristine Hvam.
Oh, that's so cute. They're
Yeah,
so
they are.
cute.
I
They're
made
so
them myself.
delicate. I know. I was like, I look at my kids. I'm like,
I did that.
I did this. I made
Fantastic
you,
creation.
and you're awesome and annoying at the same time. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, you know, like my kids. So I mean, I've hit a sweet spot in the mom world. My kids are good. They're easy.
I will tell you, my my teenager's definitely a teenager, but really, we have great time. Like when we're in the car together alone, she really opens up to me. We really do have. I have a great relationship with all my kids. I mean, I love them so much. And I miss them. Like right now, these next 2 weeks, I'm really not going to see them that much because I'm working. And I kind of hate that. My favorite thing
Do
is...
you hate it or you feel guilt?
I miss them. I do. So we love our after because we travel. We go to we don't go to the public school in our town. So I love our time in the car after school because we have to drive, and I love the conversation, listen to
fun.
music, and we sing, and they're amazing.
That's kind of nice.
They're amazing. So what would you like to leave our listeners with? I feel like there's something with I feel like we're gonna have comments on this. It feels weird the way this is today, Facebook Live. So
Why? What does it normally look like?
there's normally like
I'm a
green
Facebook
coming
Live
up and stuff
virgin.
like that, like when people are watching, and we definitely have people watching. So anyway, That was my little side note.
watching
So
it?
tell us what else. So you can go to Audible, go get Spin, the Rumpelstilskin musical.
Yes, buy it.
Keep your eyes peeled for the Puss in Boots musical without a title.
Yeah, we still need. We're arguing about a title.
Oh, talk about the award that you just got. I'm sorry, I did want to bring that up. You were in LA. Let's do that.
So, Spin's been doing really well. So we picked up a Parents' Choice Award. We got like a silver medal from the Parents' Choice people. There is an Odyssey Award that comes out every year, and we were on their most notable list, which made me very, very proud. We were out in LA in November. We picked up 2 SOVAS, Society of Voice Arts and Sciences Awards, one for the audiobook character of infant to 8-year-old for children, and the other for production, which was the one that I was most proud of because so much work and time and effort and talent went into the production of Spin. So I was really honored with that. And then Monday night are the Audies.
Ooh,
So the Audies...
She always wins.
I don't know. I don't.
Were you nominated this year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For Spin.
Yeah.
Spin is nominated this year in the Best Original Work category. So
That's
the
exciting.
Audies, if you're not an audiobook person, the Audies are like the audiobook world's
Oscars. Yeah. Yay! And you'll post
Yeah.
pictures and you look fabulous.
Yeah. So Monday night, yeah.
So is it in New York?
It is in the New York. If you want to know more about where it is, you can go to the Audio Publishers Association website, audiopub.org, and that'll tell you everything you want to know about the Audies.
That's so cool. I love it. I love your journey. I love that we've stayed friends after all these years. And like I said, we got thrusted together because we were both at County College at the same time. And our professor was like, you guys need to meet because I wanted to start a club and you want to start a club because I think you guys should meet. And we did with our Doc Martens and our big, our big jeans.
Yeah.
Doc Martens,
And
oversized flannels.
And there was birthed the Beatnik
Night, Beatnik Club. Yes, we did these open mic night. Oh my God, we really had fun. Shout out Debbie Keppel. Shout out Doug West. And I'm revisiting that message, by the way, for us to go out. I'm gonna resurface that. I'm gonna we're gonna have to steal them away. But yeah, you know what? I really do have great memories from.
They were the best times of my life.
Seriously, I'm like,
CCM
I
was
didn't
the
go away
best
to
time of my
school,
life.
but I loved everything about CCM.
Oh, it was a good time.
And I just went back for the Teen Arts Festival because
how
we
was
take
it?
our kids. It's so fun, but the campus is so different now. But walking around on campus it's like,
Memories.
and I loved it. And I'm so thankful for the friends I've made there. And it really shaped me.
Yeah.
It really shaped me. And I said to Chris, Doc said to me, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, oh my God, you know what?
Oh, Doc, he was our director.
Yeah, he was our director and our teacher, and we had him for so many classes. He had to deal with me and Chris all the time.
Oh, that poor man. That poor man.
All the time. So that was so fun. So, good
Yeah.
luck on Monday. We'll
Thank
be
you.
watching.
I'm gonna need it.
Go follow Vam Audio and follow me, Lomo Mills, by the way, if you haven't. And you'll keep us posted. Keep your
will.
eyes peeled.
I will.
And we'll be back next week. We're supposed to be interviewing Rob Rukiki from Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. So we'll see. I'm going to have to reach out to him just to make sure because they are on tour right now. Hey, Danny. That's my co-host. See, normally you would say. So it's like there's something up here today. But thanks everyone for tuning in. I do record the shows. I am behind on my interviews, but hopefully they'll be up this weekend. You'll be able to catch this one too. Thanks for our listeners who tune in every week on the radio, on the internet radio. And go listen, go see live music, go see a play. Support the arts.
Download an audiobook.
Download an audiobook. Thank you. That's a new one for me. That's going to be my new one.
Yeah, download an audiobook.
And just make sure
Listen to a podcast. Do something.
Make sure it's Khristine Hvam. No, support all these wonderful. There's a lot of really great narrators out there.
There's a lot.
A lot of great narrators. Thanks, guys. I'll see you next week.
Bye. Thanks.